Hi everybody, welcome to our native town. Here on this shield you can read its name, Щучина. It's a small town which is situated in the western part of Belarus, on the highway M6 between Grodno and Minsk. The history of Щучина dates back to the 15th century. In August 2017 we celebrated 500th anniversary of the town.
Щучина and Щучина district are incredibly rich in unique history, architectural monuments and sites. Here you can see the map of all sites of our district. Щучина is also called the town of aviators.
Щучина suffered greatly during numerous wars and conflicts in the course of its history. But today we are going to tell you about the events which took place in our town in the 20th century. We called our excursion Щучина in Wars and War Conflicts at the 20th century.
Look at this building. Now it belongs to the Щучина plant Автопровод. In the beginning of the 20th century there was a plywood factory.
During the First World War, Щучина was occupied by the Kaiser troops. At that time there was a camp for war prisoners. 100 years ago, in that camp, captain of the French army, Charles de Gaulle, was held captive among other officers. Later he became general and president of the French Republic.
Recently, in the former place of Drudzki-Lubetsky, the local authorities met the guest advisor of the French embassy in our country, Michel Cantini. The guest's aim was to perpetuate the memory of Charles de Gaulle.
The documents prove that we are talking about one of the buildings that now belong to the Щучина plant Автопровод. On the 22nd of June in 1941, the Great Patriotic War broke out. Only 3 days later, on the 25th of June, Щучина was occupied by German troops. In June 1941, the population of Щучина was 5,000 people. Among them, 3,000 were Jews. In September 1941, Щучина ghetto was set up by the Germans. It occupied the southern part of the town. We are going along Komsomolskaya Street. Here was the border of the ghetto. It was situated between the modern streets 17th of September and Gastello, partially covered Komsomolskaya Street and Frunze. Here you can see the former Jewish quarter.
Nowadays, a monument to the victims of Nazi genocide rises at the site of the tragedy. It is located a former airfield in the northeastern part of Щучина. The monument is made of concrete with a marble slab, and it has a metal fence around it. Only 856 names of victims are known, and 1,204 names of the buried are unknown. The monument is mostly set up on the donation of the victims' relatives. The monument is situated not far from the old Jewish cemetery.
My name is Dr. Nikolai Kondrad, and this is the house I lived in. During the Great Patriotic War, I helped Soviet soldiers and hid them from the fascists. I also saved the Jewish. I cured them and hid their documents because, according to the fascist plan, all the Jews should have been shot. The Nazis did not trust me, and called me for the questioning very often. Soon after one of those questionings, I came home and died of a heart attack. I was buried here in Щучина at this parochial cemetery.
During the Great Patriotic War, 6,593 peaceful citizens of our district were shot and tortured by the Nazis. Here in Soviet Street you can see an obelisk.
The mass grave in honor of Soviet soldiers and partisans is located in Svoboda Square. 229 Soviet soldiers of the 139th Infantry Division and 6 partisans who were killed in July 1944 when the region was set free from German fascist invaders are buried here.
In 1979, the former Soviet Union was involved in the war conflict on the territory of the Democratic Republic of Afghanistan. Afghanistan has become a point of no return for many Soviet people. On the 15th of February 1989, the withdrawal of Soviet forces was ended. Among Soviet soldiers who perished during that war were Belarusians too. 771 Belarusian soldiers didn't return home. The wings of black tulips also affected Щучина. 6 citizens of our district were killed in this war conflict. They were only from 18 to 20 years old. The town authorities decided to erect the monument in honor of these people.
On the 3rd of September 2005, the opening of the monument took place in our town. You can see a massive stone of red granite on which you can read the words to soldiers on Undercard War.
And to finish our excursion, we'd like to invite you to school number 1. The Folk Museum of Battle Glory is situated in our school. Welcome! Originally, the museum was created as a local history museum. It was opened on the 1st of May 1985 to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the victory of the Soviet people in the Great Patriotic War. In early 2009, the reconstruction of the museum started and it was reprofiled into the Museum of Battle Glory.
The founder of the museum is Yulia Nikolaevna. She is an honorable citizen of Щучина. Also, she was a teacher of history. The museum is located in 2 rooms with a total area of 77 square meters. The museum has 410 exhibits of the main funds and 1,009 auxiliary funds. Among them diplomas, combat awards, комсомол and military tickets, letters from the front, похоронки, weapons, memories of veterans and awards. There are documents about the participants of the partisan movement in Щучин region, Овчинникова, Степанова, Чищевику, Bubnova. Also in the museum there is some information about prisoners of concentration camps. Thanks to the research activity of members of the museum, a lot of information was found about the dead and buried in mass graves, not only in Щучin land but also beyond it. For example, in the museum there is a document about hero of Soviet Union, Batyrov Petr Mikhailovich, who was buried in a mass grave in the village of Желудок. Other exhibitions of the museum are also of great interest.
The following expositions were created in the museum. The first days of occupation. Selfless work of people in the Soviet rear. The memory of the war. Sisters of Khatin in Щучin area. You have reached Berlin. Honorable citizens of Щучin. Partisan units of the Щучin zone. Operation Bagration. Underground and anti-fascist organizations. Temporary occupation of Belarus. Resistance of the Soviet border guards and units of the Red Army. The Afghan War is our history, our destiny, and our pain.
The aim of the museum is to preserve the memory about the heroic past of our land and contribute to upbringing of young citizens of our town and district. The museum holds meetings with veterans of the Great Patriotic War, veterans of the Great Afghan War, courage lessons, talks, excursions, competitions, exhibitions, information and educational lectures. Excursions are held on preliminary request.
In the conclusion, we would like to say that our town is not big, but it has a rich and interesting historical past. You should come and see with your own eyes. Welcome to Szczucin and enjoy the beauty of our town.